Well, today, everybody, in this video, we're going to be talking about how to record guitar tones with no money. Let's get into it. Let's call it how it is, everybody. In today's world, everything's expensive, including guitar and recording gear. However, there's a lot of great reputable companies out there that make affordable products for all of us that deliver quality results. So in this video, I want to sit down with you all and give my own opinions on how I feel as though you can save the most amount of money and get the best results when recording guitars at home. So as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Thank you so much in advance. And if you're a returning viewer and subscriber, I really sincerely appreciate you. Last thing, be sure to hit that like button as it gets this video out to other players and potentially help out some other newer players who are learning to record guitars at home. All right, so let's dive on in. So what in fact is the first piece of gear that we need? Well, it is an interface. One of these things. Now, these things come in a bunch of different shapes, sizes, and colors, and a ton of different features. I mean, it kind of looks like a control panel to a spaceship to the untrained eye, right? But basically what this thing is, it's a device that captures your guitar signal from your guitar cable, and then it sends it into your computer so you can record yourself. Now, just like the shape, sizes, and colors of interfaces, the range in terms of price on interfaces is crazy. And this is a Focusrite Solo USB, I believe the second gen, and I believe I got this for give or take $100 back in 2016, 2017 when I first started my channel. I use this thing literally every single day for the first year and change on my channel, and anytime I travel, I still use this interface to this day. So the Jim Root interview was recorded on this, the Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein interview was recorded on this. This thing has been on the road with me whenever I'm just like kind of just got some downtime and I just want to like come up with an idea. I plug into this thing and then go right into my MacBook. Long story short, man, this thing has been all over the place, and yeah, this interface in particular, I really sincerely dig it. But no matter what interface you get, you know, you really don't need to spend a lot of money. Now, I have since upgraded my interface. I got a Focusrite 8 Claret Pre, but I haven't seen any sort of benefits like sonically by upgrading. I literally upgraded my interface to have more inputs and outputs. That way I can have a bunch of different things set up at one time, and therefore I'm not constantly, you know, reaching behind my desk to change out like, you know, different cables and stuff like that. What I'm trying to say is like the cheap interface that I first bought when I started my channel and my journey here on the internet, I still use it to this day. In fact, I recorded a song with this very interface for this video. You guys know my song, Subtle Comeback with Tom Barber. That's my most streamed song of all time, and rightfully so. It's an absolute monster riff and song. I love it so much. It's on Spotify if you want to go check it out, man. Shout out to Tom Barber, my favorite vocalist of all time. Anyway, man, I re-recorded that song using a very cheap guitar that we're going to talk about here in a second, and that very interface that I just showed you. Here's a clip of that right now. So the guitar that I used for that little demo song was in fact this Washburn. This is called a Washburn Sonomaster Deluxe. This guitar cost $269 from Sweetwater.com, which is in fact today's sponsor. Sweetwater.com is such an awesome online retailer, man. You guys who have been following my channel know how great Sweetwater has been to me. And prior to doing sponsored videos with Sweetwater, I've been shopping there for years and years, and yeah, man, they're absolutely awesome. So I'll put a product link down below in the description if you want to scoop one of these things up. This is a really awesome, like kind of, call it how it is, like a Strat, replica Strat copy from Washburn. Really affordable, and it plays pretty good, man. And now, full transparency, upon doing this video, I was not going to use a guitar, a budget guitar, that I didn't feel as though could like do the job, because budget guitars are really hit or miss, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they're great, and then sometimes they're not so great. This guitar sincerely is great. I wouldn't lie to you guys, and I wouldn't like make this video with something that like I wasn't down with, you know what I'm saying? So like this guitar, man, 269 bucks. It's pretty awesome, dude. It's just like a Strat, man. It's got a 5-way, it's got one volume, one tone, it's got a tremolo system here, HSS, bolt-on, maple neck. You know, it's what you would expect from an actual, like, Stratocaster replica type of guitar. But my favorite thing about this guitar specifically is the fretboard radius. It's not as rounded compared to like a Fender. But yeah, everybody, this guitar does a job for what I need to do. That is create rock and metal riffs and a little bit of shred here and there every now and again, right? I'll put a link down below if you guys want to go check one of these things out. A huge shout out to Washburn Guitars, a huge shout out to Sweetwater. And yeah, man, this is a really cool budget guitar. And last thing I'll say about spending money on guitars, like I was kind of just saying, man, budget guitars, they're really hit or miss. And in my own experience, there's really no way to like gauge what is a good guitar and what's not from which company or whatever. Like sometimes different examples from, one company are like, good and bad. Like it's a hit or a miss, just like with inside one company. So like you really have to be careful and mindful and do a little bit of R&D yourself to figure out which guitar is good for you. But when you get a good guitar that's budget friendly, like it's a win, man. I have several budget friendly guitars that I've literally toured with, you know what I'm saying? Like there's one in particular that I can think of, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like regardless of your price point, your brand, just make sure you get the one that you feel as though can do the job. Now let's talk about the actual tones. Now for this video, I went to STL Tones and I downloaded the Ignite Emissary bundle. It's a free amp sim and it comes with a head and a bunch of different cabs, or IRs, which is short for impulse response, which is a digital snapshot of how a speaker moves when it hits a microphone. It's like a really kind of complex. Like basically, man, like a microphone takes that snapshot and then somehow recreates it in your computer. I don't know, man. It makes a digital cabinet. That's all I know. There's a lot of different great free amp sims out there. And again, similar to the guitar, pick one that you feel can do the job. I've known of the Emissary for years. Even when I used to work with STL Tones, that was always one of my go-tos, man. So like there's a lot of different companies that offer free amp sims. So you don't have to spend a ton of money. Even some DAWs, some digital audio workstations, have amazing tones inside where like they have like their own amps and cabinets and they come with the program. So, in 2023 going into 2024 now, you can get free guitar tones that sound, professional and record ready. Next thing I want to talk about with guitar recording at home is EQ and compression, or lack thereof compression. First thing is EQ. I'm very subtle with my EQ moves. Basically, I only do two things. I do a high pass and a low pass at 80 hertz and 10K respectively. And then I do a little dip, a little carve out at 4K because that's the nails on the chalkboard tone. Other than that, everybody, I really don't do any sort of additional EQing. If I want to alter the overall sound of my guitar, I will change it on the amp sim interface, for example. Like I'll grab more treble or more mids, etc. But like the overall blanket EQ recording stuff, like I really just do very, very subtle and minimal EQ carves and boosts and cuts and stuff like that. And last but not least, I use a multiband compressor. I use the stock plugins from Logic, so like my EQ is the stock Logic plugin, and then I use the stock multiband compressor from Logic, which is my DAW. A multiband compressor, in case you're unfamiliar with what it is you can change and compress a specific frequency band, so you're not compressing the entire guitar track. The trick here is like you compress and tame the low mids whenever you're down picking or chugging. There's a lot of rumble that builds up in this frequency band, and having a multiband compressor on that specific frequency range tames all of that. And those are the only plugins I use in addition to my amp sims when recording guitar. No compression, no limiting, none of that stuff, man. Because in my opinion and from my experience, especially with high gain tones and metal tones, you already have a ton of compression and a ton of limiting going on. You already have a ton of firepower. So it's like almost overkill and really unnecessary. And the last thing I want to talk about with how to record at home in this video is talking about the art of recording guitar itself. Because in my opinion, that is an acquired skill. I've been recording almost every single day now for like 6.5 going on 7 years for this YouTube channel. And even before that, even in my teenage years and, preteen years and being a little kid in elementary school, I was always trying to find ways to record guitar. So like, you get better and better as you do it more and more, but I just want to like touch on some things on like how it could set you up for success when recording at home. First things first, you got to get a good take on the guitar. When I say a good take, like you have to record a good performance of you playing. You really can't like doctor a bad performance. Like some people can, I guess, like they like cut and paste. Like some people go crazy with like recording guitars and like chop it all up into little bits. But like in my opinion, I've never been one good at that. 2, I don't have the patience for that. And 3, my philosophy is just like play it better next time, and then you don't have to worry about editing it in post. So a good solid take right on the click, right on the beat will just like far and away set yourself up for success whenever you're trying to create a song, man. Like if it's rock solid, it's nice and clean, like you'll be good to go. Next thing with recording guitars as it pertains to recording like songs, we'll say, is you got to have one guitar left and one guitar right. I used to make the mistake back in the day when I first started, like in my first week or two of recording, that like I thought I would just take one guitar, pan it right, and then copy and paste and then pan it left. And I was like, oh, I have 2 takes now. But that essentially just creates one mono track because they're both the exact same. So what creates a cool wide stereo effect with recording guitars is you do one right and then do one left. And what's cool about humans in general is we're imperfect beings. So no matter how good or how close you can play it, you know, every single time, no 2 takes are exactly the same. So no matter, like I said, no matter how hard you try, they will always vary and they'll always be different. And that in turn, when you pan them left and right, creates this kind of cool, wide, huge stereo guitar effect. And last thing I want to talk about here on your interface is setting your gain when recording. When I say gain, setting your input level, your input signal on your interface. Throughout the years, I've had varying opinions on how to set my input signal. I've heard like you got to get it right before it's clipping, where it's like making bad distortion, and then you back it off a little bit. And then I've also heard like you got to have it really, really quiet as well by somebody. I personally just feel as though what's best for me is just like right in the middle, like a medium level input signal where it's not too hot nor too cold or too weak, I guess we'll say. Because in post, either in an amp sim or you can use like a limiter or something like that, a gain plugin, you can always alter the input signal as it's going into your amp sim, but you can never change the original integrity of the guitar recording itself. So a nice happy medium for me personally is just a great way to, like, if I want to change something later when I'm mixing or something like that, I can alter it as such. So everybody, that's my opinion on how to record guitar at home for no money. What's really awesome about guitar recording anymore is the fact that, man, things sound really, really good for not a lot of money. Gone are the days of big giant like full stacks and a wall of Marshalls. Sure, like that's rad, but like, you know, call it how it is, man. Things just sound really, really good in smaller compact forms, and we don't have to spend a lot of money to get it. Whether it's the amp sim, the interface, the guitar itself, everything's pretty budget friendly anymore. Alright everybody, that's the video. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, I really sincerely appreciate it, and leave a comment down below if you learned something or if you found something to be confusing, because you know, I don't want that to happen. So if you're still unsure about something, leave a comment and I'll be sure to do my very best to answer it down below, okay? Alright everybody, I'm out of here. See you guys in the next video. Later.